Hello, Sean again. Another windy but bright day here in April. I'm at the beautiful Oxborough Hall. I'm going to do a painting just outside of here, but I thought I'd show you this. Look at this. Glorious. With a moat as well. So here's the scene before me. Beautiful scene. Got the road leading in. You can see a beautiful focal point on the left-hand side, the tree coming out of the kind of ivy and bush. And there's some nice features over here that I might incorporate as well, but plenty of shadows, lots to go with. So let's get into this then. We're going to be popping some water in across the paper. We're going to use a spray gun just to randomly spray around and wet the paper. It's a good idea to do this if you want to create an atmospheric painting. We're going to get soft edges and we're going to get hard edges by doing this. I've got my squirrel mop brush. This is a number 8 brush. And I'm just going to pop in some of this mixture that I already had there, kind of a purpley grey, touched in with some ultramarine. I'm looking ahead at me at the clouds, and there's quite a few gaps and it's quite hazy. The clouds are quite sort of diffused. So I want to kind of get that effect. I'm using the side of this mop brush to kind of blend into some of the white paper and going to use that to my advantage to create this clouds. I'm also going to pop in some yellow ochre as well around the horizon and under where we're going to have trees and light. Quite a bit of green in this painting in terms of the middle ground, so we're just gonna put in a light wash of yellow ochre, bringing that all the way down, keeping it away from the road, that road that leads the eye into the focal point, the tree on the left. I'm gonna put that in with some grey paint. But at the moment we're just kind of establishing a few little specks of white paper underneath just to give some highlights, but this is the first sort of wash going in. So I'm now going to mix up a grey with blue and yellow ochre and ultramarine. So we're just at the moment we're just sticking with two colours, two hues, and we're going to try and keep this painting in under about five to six colours in there. I anticipate looking at this. I'm just going to warm up this grey and just darken at the base of the road at the start here, just to help with recession and the illusion of it going backwards. But we're just going to keep in with a few hues. We're probably going to use burnt sienna. We've already established. I'm gonna pop in now a few dabs with the tissue just to get off some of the runs that are here. We don't need those, and then just take out some of the sky, just create this haze. But I was saying, just keep them down to probably about 5 or 6 hues. I'm going to use neutral tint and probably cadmium yellow as well, because there's lots of bright patches of yellow. And then maybe at the end with a shadow colour, I'm going to add in some alizarin crimson into my typical blue mixture. So unfortunately, again, my camera battery just went again. I'm just going to check that out, the phone battery. So I had to recharge it. So we've missed a bit of this. But basically on the left-hand side, I painted the tree in with neutral tint with 2 brushes. My mop brush and then a much finer brush, a number 2 brush. On the left hand side I just established a few shadows. On the right hand side again I popped in the tree and foliage in that side as well. But now I've just wet the paper and I just want to kind of create a lot of diffused foreground there. There's too much sharpness going on. We just need the kind of one focal point really is going to be the sharpest, the lightest light, and the darkest dark. That's the tree on the left. I'm probably going to pop in a figure as well with a dog or something like that walking near that focal point. But here, the main thing to remember is patience. So I'm probably going to grab a coffee. I'm still looking into spray in certain areas that I want to diffuse. So I'm just putting my hand there to keep that away from the main tree and the tree on the right. But I just want the pigment, the watercolour to blend and bleed in there with the various colours, and then I'll encourage parts that are a bit too wet as well, just to take out. It's quite yellow here, and I need to take out this yellow patch across the middle distance where there are some trees. One of the things you need to develop as a watercolour painter when you're outside, especially on a day like today, is patience, because these things take a while to dry. So I'm just testing and finding out how dry, and moving the board around to encourage pigment to run and water to run, and just dabbing in there. So all of this is great fun when you're out. Normally just take a flask of coffee as well to just not pass the time of day, because it's quite handy to have a drink. But the main thing here is patience and letting nature do its thing. When you're indoors, you can of course use a hairdryer, but it's, you know, and if I do demonstrations, that's what I do, but it's not the same. The paint dries very differently. We're kind of forcing it, we're heating the paint up. This way it's natural. Anyway, thought I'd just pop that in there. So we need to get back into this. So I'm mixing up a shadow colour now. My standard shadow colours, you know, is ultramarine and alizarin crimson. It might not seem as if I'm doing much here, but I am kind of messing around and doing a lot of mixing and thinking while I'm waiting for the paper to dry to the point where I need to put in the next wash, next passage. You've got to timing is everything on this, and you just got to be patient. It's no good trying to rush into it, because you just end up with blooms. You don't, you know, unless you want blooms, they can work sometimes. But the main thing is just to keep testing the paper with the back of your finger. Well, you know that finger is clean, because I'm quite a messy painter, and just be patient, really. I'm just grabbing more coffee, having a little drink, just waiting for this thing to dry before I can go into my next bit, and just blending and bleeding with my finger. I use my fingers quite a lot, so that's always useful to do. Blend and bleed. Yep, I'll even put a bit of saliva in there. A bit disgusting, isn't it, if it's not wet enough to do that. And then we shall get back into the main part. The great thing about painting outdoors is that you can just chill out and enjoy yourself. That's the kind of, you know, and enjoy the weather. And it's been particularly warm on this second week of April. Still going to dab out a few parts of water that I don't want. But as I said, it's been really warm, and the wind had dropped enough to do this painting, and the light was here, the shadows were here, and that's what you need. Plenty of shadows when you're painting, unless you're doing some sort of rainy sort of day type painting, which I do quite often. But getting out, enjoying the sun, that's the most important bit. So an extra long dab there, trying to just get that pigment soaked up. But the problem with cadmium yellow, so you have to be cautious, is it is a staining. It will stain the paper. It's not semi-translucent or translucent. It's very staining. So you just need to be aware of that. It's a powerful, powerful, powerful colour. So we'll get into the next part of the painting to show you that.
We'll come to that part of the painting where typical, so annoying that the camera battery died. So I had to go back into the car and charge it up a bit. But I'll just quickly tell you what I did. Sorry about that. Basically, we'd got the trees and everything in, and then I popped in my typical colour of ultramarine and alizarin crimson, and I popped in a whole bunch of shadows all over the paint, and you can see them coming across. I looked very carefully at the tree shadows, had some lost and found edges coming in, and that's basically what happened there. So not much more than that. I popped in a few birds. I'm now going to pop in a figure in a second. I popped in a few little white highlights as well, but down here I just want to sort out this shadow across the bottom, just make it a little bit stronger pigment wise. So hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to come in here and just make this stronger, which will push everything back, and the same is in here. I just wanted to bring in some darker notes just to push things back a bit. Hopefully that's done it. Tip of the brush, just tickling in some of this crimson, tickling in some of the neat ultramarine. That's all going to blend and bleed in together, creating a nice effect there. With these types of shadows, you do need to make sure that you've got lost and found edges. That's sharp edges and softer edges, which we've done in here. I'm just going to darken up parts of this, the tree here, and hopefully that'll bleed off in here. This is just with neutral tint. Yeah, that's working. And also I need to soften off some of those edges as well. We won't put this everywhere because it gets a bit boring, but we do need to make sure we're bearing that in mind. Soften off edges means just using clear water to soften off, and we try and just get that in a quick, because a lot of shadows are not, they're just soft, they soften off, they're not sharp edges. Some of them are, some of them are not. So we'll just soften off some of those, so we get an effect around there. A little bit of water here. Now then, the final thing, a figure. We talked about figures in. Let's have a pinging figure then. Pinging figure. It's going to be bright. It's going to be red. This person out here walking. I mean, I haven't seen much of that, but we'll keep it. We haven't seen anybody in. But people must walk around here, surely. They have to, don't they? Just pop in the legs. Up in the head. I'm going to go here for burnt sienna. Just get it on a slight angle. Going to go for an even finer brush there. That was a number 2 Escoda. This is a Fumio. It's starting to get quite windy out here now, guys. I'm going to pop a dog in here. This guy's out walking his dog. Hopefully that's going to look like a dog. It kind of does. Walking off that way. And then we'll pop in their own shadows. Let's go back into the same mixture. This is all neutral tint here. very long shadows out today. Things with shadows and stuff like that, don't fiddle around too much, just get it in and get done and move on. And of course this guy's going to be in shade, isn't he? And shadow, so we'll do our famous shadow colour. Ultramarine, alizarin crimson, pop a little bit in here on this side. There we go, there's the story. This guy out here walking with his dog. This fencing I'm putting in here, by the way, just take out some of that. It's a bit tonally too bright. Popping in a few of these little highlights. I will make his head a little bit darker. And that's kind of it. We really are done. We don't want to be fiddling now. Resist the temptation. Right, we're going to take the tape off and hopefully reveal another masterpiece. Let's see. Let's take this tape off. We should be good to go. The clouds are gone in, which is good. When you're viewing paintings and kind of going through and critiquing them, never do them out in bright sunlight. Bright sunlight's not brilliant. I'll show you in a second when I take a picture of this and pop this up at the end. Bright sunlight for viewing paintings after they've been done, especially when you're taking the tape off, is not good. I will get rid of that in a second. Let's just take this tape off here. I use Rhino tape in the UK. It comes from the Range, kind of hardware type store in the United Kingdom. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. We're out here near Oxborough Hall in Norfolk. Absolutely glorious. I mean, look at the way the weather has changed since I've been doing the painting. You can now see different types of very grey clouds coming in, lots of mist, beautiful out there. The sun is kind of up in the sky and kind of very hazy up there, and then behind me we've got beautiful blue skies, but it's very calm. Let's have a quick look down here at the painting. Hopefully you can see the finished thing, and I'll take a picture for you. Anyway, take care now, and just remember to like, subscribe and all that jazz, but the main thing is get outside and get painting. It's great fun. Bye bye for now, till the next one. So the final thing is I've just put a few highlights you can see on that on the figure, the guy walking the dog, and that was that. So there we go.